In this section of Inside, which is the end of the game, at least when you play it for the first time usually, there is a fairly large transition that occurs. So at this point, you should definitely stop and watch or play the game if you are worried at all about spoilers. So right at the beginning of this section, we see people who may or may not be scientists, part of the overseer class anyway, running towards these big windows that seem to be looking in on some sort of aquarium situation where there is obviously something of note there that they're surprised by or that represents some sort of culmination of their efforts. And so, well, let's just, and then you get to kind of encounter whatever it is. It's kept at a distance for a little while. But here in this section, we're going to finally kind of encounter what they've created, sort of the apex or zenith of this entire adventure. So again, we get this sort of silence, and the little boy has lost his clothing at this point. Sort of reductive or erasure of individuality is represented through that, and now we see the kind of blob-like human abstraction, and it's being controlled right now by similar nodes as those that the boy has been using to control other creatures throughout this adventure, and they kind of reach out for him. And so again, we see the themes of togetherness and loneliness and loss of individuality kind of come to a climax here, and now it's released, and the boy has joined with it. And so now that is the character that you're controlling, a very kind of concrete, literal embodiment of these themes. And now we'll hear sort of, they don't realize what they've created, or didn't realize that it would have this consequence anyway. And the sounds that the thing makes are very kind of creepy and sort of animalistic. It obviously acts as a collective of individuals to some degree. So there's been and it also lacks any clothing or any face of any kind. There's been an abstraction of the consequences of this, like this effort to create or to do away with individuality and to control people and to kind of merge them together has found its sort of literal representation in this creature that then towards the end of the game comes face to face with the world that people in this world have left, the natural world, as it kind of tumbles down outside of the compound in which it was created. And we can watch that ending here. So let's watch just the very end of the game where the creature, let's see, right here, the creature is going to finally make its way out of the compounds and encounter the world that it has left behind as it breaks down this barrier. And you're left with just kind of thoughts about the consequences of actions which remove the individual from him or herself. And so he tumbles down in what seems to be a fairly healthy forest to the edge of a lake and comes to rest at a place where we're just sort of left to ponder the consequences of these particular threads or ideas as they kind of reach their, in this case, somewhat absurdist apex. And then the credits will roll here momentarily. And that's it. We're just kind of left to try and ponder these questions of what it means to be human, what it means to be an individual, what it means to be part of society as a whole, what it means as we kind of seed our individuality towards efficiency, towards the goal of efficiency.